Welcome back to another episode of Pilgrim's Garage. If you saw the previous ones, you saw that Lucas and I went out to Las Vegas and we picked up a 2007 Subaru Impreza that was not as described. Would have been nice if I'd had a little bit more idea of what the car was, but I guess we'll figure that out as long as we go here. So this is the car. Tanner's kind of giving it its once over. Didn't really do a walk around out there just because I didn't really have the time. So you can see she's a little dirty. It's got a little bit of Utah on there, some Colorado, actually a whole lot of Colorado on there. Nebraska, a little bit of Iowa. Minnesota was okay. It wasn't too terribly bad. Would have been nice to know if they would have told me that it had some hail damage on it. I got another hood on its way. And boy, they don't give them away, I'm here to tell you. Not sure if you can see any of that. Quite a bit of hail damage. Car supposedly was from the West Coast. You'd think that in Las Vegas. No. Car was from New Jersey. It was bought in Pennsylvania. So that's why, hence all the rust. Nice big nasty dent in there. Trying to find a door. If anybody knows where there's a door, give me a comment down there. This is that pearl white kind of metallic color. Somebody's quality Bondo job there. I'll take care of that. I think I will. I don't know. I'm still in Wisconsin, so I might let it rot. Nothing terribly major. To get under the hood, that's a little bit different story. It's been parked for a week. I'll let you see the oil leak that it had for a week. And you should have that now. That's a pretty good puddle. I think that's just the drain plug. The gasket looked like it was crap, and that's where it looked like it was leaking from before. So the reason that the car was such kind of a nightmare out there, some of the things that went wrong were not really going to be fixable unless I had it at my shop. Here at the shop, I've got everything that I need to be able to fix this. Out there, not so much. I didn't have a lot. I wanted to get everything that needed to get done in one day. It turned out to be 2 days. As many people know, never as described when you buy a car from far away. If it wouldn't have been for a cross-dressing welder that was out there, I would have still been out in Las Vegas. Yes, I showed up to a friend of a friend's house who knew a welder. As we're driving over, he says, "This guy is a little eccentric." I said, "Not a problem. I've been a teacher. I've dealt with all types." He just looked at me and he said, "Okay." Anyway, we pull up to the guy's driveway. He's got a welding apron on and a welding helmet. I didn't think anything special until he turned around. He was wearing Daisy Dukes, a tube top, and a Pippi Longstocking wig, wearing that welding helmet and that leather. I just said, "Okay." Not gonna lie to you, the guy welded it pretty awesome. Had to weld the ball joint up so it would actually stay on there. Yeah, that's what I said. It stayed on, made it all the way back. That's all that counts. Let's look around on the inside of this car. So at first glance, you'd think that this interior looks pretty good, which it does. No tears, no stains, no nothing bad. Mind you, all we did was park, and that was it. Everything's pretty good inside of here. But let me just tell you about the smell inside this car. It smells like gas. Not raw gas, but filtered gas. Almost like it's been poured around on the inside of the car, sitting together with burnt pasta. That's what it smells like in here. That's my first and foremost thing that I'm going to fix is the fuel tank. I'm not sure if it's leaking or not, but when it has a full tank, it does leak. I don't know if that's coming from the fuel tank or if that's coming from something different. I've got to find out. When Dan had it filled out there, it leaked out to about a half a tank. I just took a chance on a few times on the way home of filling the tank up. I smelled a little raw gas on the way home, but just the smell of the petroleum inside this thing is enough to give you one big headache. So in the back end of the car, it's kind of funny, I really don't smell it when it's all aired out, but you can see I have some extra tools here, some extra supplies, just trying to make the trip home, some extra quarts of oil, transmission fluid, a couple of bearings, spark plug wires, spark plugs, things I wasn't sure if I was going to have to fix or not on the way home. This is the half shaft I got from O'Reilly's, which is wrong. This one is for a sedan, where as you can see, this is a station wagon. Nobody told me that. So long story short, that was our project on Sunday. But we replaced it and made it home. So up underneath, as Derek would say, the power barn, we have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, which runs great, but it's some of the things around it that is not so good. I'm fairly positive that this engine has been replaced. So if you look at the engine, this is the engine block here, that's the transmission. So if you take a look at that engine block doesn't look like it's discolored at all. A neighbor came over the other day and he's got a Subaru, it's an '09. I looked at his engine versus my engine. It is totally different. It's the same color as that transmission, the same color as the intake, anything that's aluminum. So something tells me that this engine has been replaced. So that's good. Problem is everything around this engine, not so good. That's what I'm here to fix. So what we're gonna do today, it's a nice day, Saturday morning. Not cloud in the sky, not super warm, but Wisconsin warm. I'll take that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead, give it a bath, put it back into the shop. I'm gonna vacuum it out, and then I'm gonna get it way up in the air, and then I'm gonna start assessing it. Here we go. Man. Do you want to go out? Howdy, neighbor. Slam that door. Oh, look what I'm watching. Just like a Monet. First things that I've been wanting to look at in this car is I want to make sure it's got all-wheel drive. Got it up in the air, I'm going to start it up. I'm going to put it in the gear, make sure that all the tires are turned. Here goes nothing. Wow, look at that. Well, that one's spinning a lot faster than that one. What are the other sides doing? Let's look together. Well, it's kind of going. That's kind of four-wheel drive. There. she's moving. Kind of. It does say symmetrical. Not exactly sure what symmetrical means. Maybe that means it's magical. It's not made for big guys. Cool. All right. One thing I don't have to worry about. So one thing I did notice, I showed it before. It's got an oil leak here. It looks like it's actually coming out of the drain plug. And see, it's wet right here. I think it's just this drain plug. When I changed the oil in Las Vegas, I noticed there was a small cut inside that. It's a plastic washer on there, or it's some kind of it's a borderline gasket. And actually, after looking at everything up underneath here, it looks like it's been leaking for a while. I don't see anywhere else because the oil pan is dry, and I think it's just that. I don't see anything. It's not wet up on top like it'd be coming down from the intake manifold gasket or a head gasket or the oil pan gasket. Looks like it's just here. And then it actually looks like this has been kind of leaking back here too, because it just wants to blow back. Well, that's okay. We call that anti-rust. And the more I look at this engine, the more that I think that this engine is brand new. If not brand new, it can't be that old. Car sat for a year out in Las Vegas. It's got to be pretty good. Everything looks really divine up inside of here. I like it. But boy, oh boy, man, does she got some rust over there. I'll show you. So you can definitely tell this is the side that we changed. And if you look right in there, that's supposed to be one piece. That's not supposed to have weight reduction in it. That is not necessarily good. It's not hard to fix, but should be too hard. Let's see what the other set looks like here. Well, I guess there are supposed to be holes there. Who knew? Okay, I'm wrong then. It's actually not too bad up underneath here. Now that I'm home, it's a little bit easier to diagnose things because I have all my tools here. I didn't have squat out there. Not quite sure what that is. It's grease from something. And there it is right there. That half shaft's gonna have to get replaced too. Yep, there's my split in there. Yeah, she made it 2,000 miles home. That's cool. That's very cool. It's only no, I take that back. It's $92 is all one of those is. So not a big deal. If you look at all that, that's grease coming out of the boot. That means that the whole way home it was probably leaking. But we made it home. Like I said, now it's an easy fix. That's not that big of a deal. All right, I got updates. So this is the fuel tank right here that seems to be leaking. Hoped it was just gonna be that little system there, which is my filler tube. Well, that's not it. After looking at the top of the fuel tank with the scope, hang on a second and I'll show you on the scope. So that's the filler neck tube. And methinks, you can see she's pretty rusty there. I think that right there is our leak, what I'm thinking of. I can't quite get it to focus into there, but that's with my scope and doing the best I can to try to get it. Lucas is doing a heck of a job holding it. It looks fantastic. That's where I think I got a leak here. See, I'm running that out with a scope. It's not that easy to get to. What we got to do, that's going to be my project. I've done a little research on it. The whole rear differential has to come out, and that's with the half shafts too, which I might as well replace. This one looks like it's been leaking. This one looks like it's been leaking a little bit. You can see she's just a little bit, so I might as well throw new ones in. And so this has got to come out. Bolts up on the top. I don't think this has got to come out. I hope not. But the exhaust is going to have to come out. This piece here is going to have to come out. The drive shaft is going to have to come out. And then fuel tanks on both sides. Japanese engineering. I guess that's just going to be a little bit of a treat, because I figure if I got it all the way that far apart, might as well put in a fuel pump and put in a new purge valve and get that all done. So that's going to be a project for another day. But that's what I got going on. Yay. All right, so after taking the evening trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this, I've come to the conclusion I'm going to try and do this myself. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think I might be able to do it in a weekend as long as I have the parts. But this is kind of a list of what I've made up. First and foremost, fuel tank. I'm going to replace the fuel pump. Might as well do that if I got it apart. Purge valve and a charcoal filter. Those four right there, that's probably about $1,000, maybe a little bit more. Not sure yet. Oh yeah, I need to put on their filler neck too, because the filler neck needs to be replaced too. So I'm going to check the fuel lines, make sure they're good, because it looks like that's a common problem with them. Change the fuel filter, give another oil change on it. The oil plug that I have is leaking, so that is just that washer. Got to replace the front half shaft. I found that was split, so that boot split on the way home. The rear half shafts, both of them, they look like they're good. One of them kind of looks like she's leaking a little bit, but I might as well replace it. Now I'm going to do all four wheel bearings while I got everything apart. This list here, the rear defrost didn't work. I found that when we were out there, so I think that might just be a fuse. Not sure. It's not terribly hard to fix. I'm going to throw in plugs, wires, and I can't believe I didn't even throw an air filter in when I did it. So it's going to add a few more things to it here. So let's go ahead and let's say we need to do the filler neck, because that looks like a piece of crap. Gas cap. Might as well if I'm going that far with everything. I can't think of anything else that I got to look at. You know what? If you guys can come up with something else you think that I should be looking at for Subarus, put a comment down below. I would appreciate it, because I'm kind of thinking that that's everything that I'm going to need to do. That should get rid of the smell of gas, and that should basically be an entirely new fuel system. So I guess I'm going to start doing some of it here. I'm just going to pull tires off and kind of start spraying things down and see what else we got to do. So here we go.